And we're back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk at Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. Chris is back.
Yeah,
he's back.
Last week. I watched the show, though. It was good.
He had me go full isolation. That's what it was. I went full ISO one-on-one with all of our guests last week. So good to have Chris back. And this is our second to last episode of the fall semester. Next week will be our final episode. We'll talk a little bit with Coach Shulman and Coach McMillan next week. And also today as well, also head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson, will join us. Another historic year for UT Martin comes to an end. Get a playoff win and another conference championship, but fall short there in the second round at Montana State. Go to this week in Skyhawk Athletics, and not a lot going on. Men's basketball, the lone game of the week at Alabama State at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, and then Sunday we'll have our first basketball doubleheader at the Kathleen and Tom Elam Center. That'll be women's basketball starting off the day versus Arkansas State at 1 p.m. on Sunday, and then men's basketball will face off against Champion Christian at 3:30 p.m. on Sunday. And Chris, those are the final non-conference basketball. Well, women's basketball plays Fisk after Christmas week, but still, after this Sunday, we're in a conference play.
Yeah, which is exciting. I mean, that's, Davis, when it really all comes together. And despite not a lot of games taking place in the next few days, there's a lot of practice that'll be going on.
And there are finals going on as well. So we wish all our Skyhawks great luck on their finals this week. Make sure to tune in. Maybe listening to this on a study break. So we appreciate your time as always. We'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, head coach of the UT Martin men's basketball team, Jeremy Shulman, will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk, Davis Gregory here again with Chris Brinkley, now joining us, head coach of the UT Martin men's basketball team. Jeremy Shulman is the Skyhawks, the lone game in the week for UT Martin Athletics at Alabama State, and then they've got the doubleheader, second part of that against Champion Christian at 3:30 with the women, starting with Arkansas State at 1. Coach, 1-1 on the week, getting back finally at home. I'm sure that it felt good to probably sleep in your own bed, wake up and be like, oh, wait. We have a game at home today, because it's not a feeling that you all have had pretty much, really all non-conference.
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly amazing. And, of course, I think we've got some of the best fans in the country among mid-major basketball right here in Martin, Tennessee, and Weakley County and West Tennessee in general. And so to get back home and play in front of those fans, it was exactly what the doctor ordered.
We'll start out that trip to Charles Southern, obviously a long one, flight and everything like that. Josue gets 24 points, 9 of 14 from the field. Terrence, 18, 2 rebounds, 7 of 7 at the line, too. Thought that was impressive. And Vlad, 8 rebounds for him. As you all start to wrap up now, I know one final road non-conference game coming up this week. And what are some of the things that you found out, I guess, really about yourself here as you've started this Division I journey, and then also your team?
Well, obviously it's a learning experience. I mean, you heard Kevin McMillan talk a lot about that and how it's all preparing, for conference season. And we didn't play quite the schedule that Kevin played, because I don't know if anyone did outside of, I guess, 18 teams nationally. But we ended up with a much more challenging schedule than we had even planned. We look at what the teams have done. I mean, Charleston Southern, right before playing us, they beat Miami at Miami. And then they go on the road to Davidson and lose by a point at Davidson. And you just go down the road. I mean, Longwood's 9-2.
It's your first year. Did you inherit some of the schedule? Or
not much of it.
Okay.
So we did it ourselves. And, this is our first time going through it. And you don't know what you don't know. And, and sometimes it's just random, especially right now in the portal era. Teams can drastically change from year to year. And so last year, Charleston Southern wasn't very good. And this year, St. Emily's done an unbelievable job, and it was able to retain 2 guys that he fought off high majors to retain somehow, and then brought in a couple other really good portal guys, and all of a sudden they go from not great last year to being one of the top teams in the entire Big South, and so you just don't know it ahead of time. But, if you look at who we played, it's like, oh my gosh, we just were watching. I mean, and we beat Illinois State on the road, but watching what they've done since then, and beating UAB and beating Pacific and all the teams that Illinois State's beat, it's like, oh my gosh,
you woke them up.
we did, and so it definitely takes things into perspective, with who we played, and same thing with Alabama State. We're playing against arguably the best team in the SWAC on Wednesday, and a team that we didn't know was going to be as good as they were, and they're absolutely fantastic. Coach Matlock does a phenomenal job, and of course his son is a star player for them as well, and has fought off high major stuff to keep him there, and so we're excited for the opportunity. But so it's been learning. And we've got such a young team. Again, we've talked about it before on here, but we're like the 360th youngest team in the whole country. And so, but we're getting better. And it's fun seeing that seeing us getting better daily at practice, but seeing a little bit of the tangible effect on it where we could really feel that on Saturday being back home.
Mm-hmm. And Coach McMillan, saw you talking to him after he jumped off the show. What are some things you've learned from him in your time here at UT Martin that you have started to, I guess, maybe apply to your coaching style and your mentality?
How much time do we have on this show?
As much as you have.
So Coach McMillan's been unbelievable to me. Just his mentorship, his friendship. I think he's a brilliant coach. I think he's a brilliant person. And, I just try to pick his brain as much as I can. And obviously he's won a whole lot here and has done unbelievable things with the program here. And so, just honestly, I could preach. I mean, we could talk about so many X's and O's. And he'll come into my office. I'll come in his office. We'll go to opposite court. We'll go to the field house and we'll just do X's and O's. And that part's great. But the biggest thing has just been on how to prepare for conference and understand how difficult the non-conference schedule is. And, he told me early, he said, you don't know what you don't know. And he said, you're going to think you know a lot of things. And then once the season starts, you're going to realize, you don't know as much as you thought you knew and you have to make adjustments. And, boy, was he right. And so, but he's been amazing. I mean, he teaches me so much. I learn from him. Even when he doesn't know he's teaching me, he's teaching me.
And that's the thing about coaching. I mean, there's so many ways to look at it that I think a lot of the good coaches just absorb what they need from other coaches.
Oh, 100%. And I've tried to do that since a young age because this is my 28th year coaching. And yet
Well, you're on the other side of that, too. People are taking from you what
hopefully
you have to offer as a coach. Yeah,
hopefully. But I just love learning. I love learning. And the game changes. I mean, I think I posted something on social media a couple months ago about how beautiful this game is. And it's just the never-ending journey and yearning for perfection. And you can keep chasing, and the game keeps changing, so you can never catch up to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. But that's what keeps this game so exciting. That's what I think makes coaching such an unbelievable profession, is that you're always trying to learn. You're always trying to get even better than you were. And of course, this journey here, first time at Division I, and right here, this unbelievable place at UT Martin. It's just been so exciting trying to learn and grow with this team.
One more question,
Yes.
Davis. I've noticed this about you. The games, you are sharply dressed. Outside of the games, you're ready for pickup basketball at any second.
Chris, we're gonna go play. We're gonna play 1v1v1 out at the rec center. You ready to go?
So this strategy where you're always ready to pick up a basketball and start shooting when you're not in a game, and the strategy to look really solid in a game. Where did this come from?
So I love dressing up, and if I could dress up more often, I would. I absolutely love it, and I don't know how much we'll dress up on the road because of how hard travel is, but I love dressing up. I always have. But being a coach and you're active during practice, and you're active during weight sessions, you're active pretty much all the time, and maybe not to go play one-on-one all the time. Just years ago, just realized how comfortable it could be just wearing t-shirts and shorts or sweatpants and
No, you're very neat and very sharply dressed. It just looks like you're ready to play basketball.
Yes.
It's comfortable, but there is something. I think everything you do means something. I just do. I think how you treat other people, how you dress, how you carry about yourself, how you just everything means something. And so I think even just the way a human being dresses kind of makes them either a little more confident or a little less confident or a little more uptight or a little this. And so, I like being dressed up at home games because it gives me a certain mental edge for myself personally. And so off the floor, dressing like this, it does have me ready to go. Maybe,
it does.
Maybe not to play one-on-one.
I've said before, if I sat beside Coach McMillan on an airplane, I might not know he's a basketball coach. If I sat beside you, I would know. Part of it's your
Have that
height.
aura.
Part of it's your height.
The aura.
And
An aura.
Yes.
The pandemic changed the way coaches dress, but so now coaches are dressing down in games. I still think you're dressing sharper than most coaches.
I appreciate it, and that's a balance because my staff, last year started, and then this year has really convinced me on road games to do it a little different. And so, Illinois State, we dressed up, and then North Alabama, we dressed up, but we lose North Alabama, so I gave it a shot at dressing down. And so we're kind of on the in-between stage on road games, but it is hard with flights and travel, bringing suits and bringing all this other stuff around. So uncertain on that, but I'm with you. I want to be, I just want to do things better than, at least, exceed my own expectations. And so I do like dressing up for that reason. But road games, We'll see.
I get it. I
We'll
mean, I
see.
got your identity already.
Yeah.
with fashion.
Yes,
I haven't got
absolutely.
Davis figured out. Yeah, he's wearing boots today.
I am wearing boots.
He's wearing boots today.
So
Coach.
I'm from Knoxville, so
Yes.
we don't really wear a lot of boots around there. It's the bougie part of Tennessee. I come over here, I've got a cowboy hat. I started wearing boots,
It's the
flannels.
bougie part of Tennessee.
It's contagious, Coach. It's contagious. It
That's
gets to you.
amazing.
That's what
That's
it is.
amazing.
It gets
You're
to
like-
you.
I'm
saying-
not sure if I'll get the boots. Also,
Okay.
People
all
in
right.
Knoxville dress better than people even in Middle Tennessee.
They might. I don't know.
What? That's
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
They might,
Coach.
but you're from Middle Tennessee,
I'm
so
from-
you
from
know.
Nashville.
You would know.
Did that
I
hurt
don't
your
know.
feelings at all?
It did not. It
Okay.
did not.
All right. There we go. There we go. Good. Good.
did
I tried
not.
to save it at the end.
Yes, it
You
did
know.
not.
We're
Absolutely.
going to talk when this is
Okay. So getting to Montreat now, getting
Yes.
a victory there, 112-16, and heard Coach McMillan talk about kids today very result, putting in the work, and I know it's very frustrating being on the road so much and coming up short here and there, and then now you get to this game and it felt like letting off some steam. You
Yes.
put 8 players in double figures. Terrence 17 points, 5 assists. I thought that was great. Andrea Bukmirovic, a guy we haven't talked about much, he's come back, gets his first double-double this season with 16 and 10, and then Stefano Falopa 11, 4, 10, 3 and 2. I just stuffed the stat sheet. Really great game for you all.
It was, and it's a good team. Montreat came in at 8-4 on the year, and Coach Anthony does an unbelievable job coaching them. And we knew we had to come ready to play. They'd actually played a previous opponent of ours and beat them by 22, and we knew that they've tasted victory. They've won a bunch of games already this year, and so I knew we were going to have to come out and play. And so I'm really proud of our guys for not just resiliency of everything we've had to endure on the road, but to come back at home, get their best shot, and then turn it around and still have such a lopsided victory. But that was really nice having 8 guys in double digits. I've never had that before. I've been coaching a
Really?
long
Wow.
time. Never had 8 guys. I've had 7 guys, but never had 8 guys in double digits. So
Yeah.
so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. to
And
be
then
able
we
to
talked
see,
about
yeah.
on the post game, the first half wasn't exactly what you wanted for your team.
Yeah.
You challenged them in the second half, and you had a fantastic second half of basketball.
Yeah, and I think some of that honestly was still just the just a little bit of the residue from some of the road games, and
Yeah.
just maybe a little bit of lack of confidence, maybe a little bit of just like, oh no, like can we really play at the level we want to play at? Even though we had 2 great practices, previously going into it, and we're still up 18.5, but second half after less than enjoyable halftime talk, but it really woke us up, and then we really came out second half, and especially right around I think about the 15 or 16 minute mark, we really turned things on at that point.
And to their credit, they're a good basketball team, well coached. But an NAIA school playing a Division I school on the road, they want to win that game.
They do, and like we told our guys, especially in the transfer portal era, they've got players that are either young guys. They've got a freshman who's averaging 14 and 10 who's going to be Division I next year. And so you think he's not coming in ready to try to impress everybody, try to take somebody's spot. They've got senior guards. They've got a couple of senior guards, and those senior guards probably are very upset they never had that chance.
Yeah.
One of them's averaging 18 a game, and he's probably coming into this game saying, "Hey, I should have been Division I. I should have been Division I," because he is a Division I talent.
Yeah.
And so they're going to come in trying to win. They're going to come in with a chip on their shoulder, trying to prove that they're better, at least for a couple of their guys, that they deserve to be at this level. And so I thought our guys really took that mentality, especially at halftime, because we really discussed that at halftime and said, okay, now it's time to show why we're a mid-major Division I program.
Yeah.
And before we get to talking about these final 2 non-conference games, Chris talking about the locker room, brand new.
Yes.
It just newly remodeled. How is that? I took a stroll through. It is really nice.
It's unbelievable.
It's
it's
great.
unbelievable. To thank Kurt McGuffin and Dr. Freeman and the entire administration to have what we have. Our locker room, it's kind of modeled after Kansas State a little bit. It's unbelievable. It really is, and especially coming from where I've coached before, this is just it's a whole new level. And so,
And I think
very
I can talk
fortunate.
about this, but like even the sinks are a little higher because your guys are so tall.
Yes.
Like that really matters to a
Yes.
tall person.
Yes, it really does. And so
Yeah.
every detail was thought about. And so, it's great. We even have ninja smoothie machines in there so we can make smoothies for the guys after weightlifting sessions. And
Nice.
so every little
Okay.
detail is in there, and it's awesome.
What's your favorite smoothie?
Ooh.
Honestly, so I'm kind of the oddball. So anything green. So give me some type of green smoothie, kale smoothie.
So you're good with
kale?
kale?
Ginger. I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm kind of the oddball on that
Okay.
one, but now it's got to have some sweetness in there. Also. It's not just like only kale and ice.
Yeah.
Probably got to have some pineapple and
Just a little
bananas
zip
and
in
blueberries.
there. Yeah, a little zip.
But yeah, when I go to smoothie places, give me something that's green.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
But I think that's so big, especially for your guys, so many international players, to have this home, to have this area where it's like our house where we hang out and have fellowship and also get ready to do what we love to do.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I can't say how thankful I am. I mean, it's just unbelievable that we have that. It really is.
So final 2 non-conference games. What are some of these goals that you have for this group right before, again, I mean, it's going to be a long road trip to Morehead State coming up, and thankfully, you get those 2 games. Well, maybe you want to start to get into a rhythm a little bit. I know that we've got that whole week off, and we'll talk about it next week with Christmas and then conference starting. But what are some goals you have for this group as you all gear up for, next week we're playing conference basketball?
It's amazing how quickly that comes.
Yes.
We just want to keep getting better. It's still a non-conference game against Alabama State, and so it's not the most important thing in the world. But we'd really like to win that game Wednesday, and our guys are really hungry to win that game Wednesday, and that gives us a chance in going into Champion Christian on Sunday to potentially have a 3-game winning streak going into Morehead. Will it be easy? No. It's a 6.5-hour drive down to Alabama State. It's a very good team that we talked about earlier, and then obviously the Morehead trip's going to be another 6-hour trip, and so. It's going to be part of the 10 Division I games we played in the first semester, all 10 on the road, and it's not easy. But just want to keep seeing us getting a little bit better. Again, I really thought we learned a lot in the first 8 games, especially, and then that 9th game against Montreat. I really thought we applied some of what we learned, and so we just want to keep applying, and just show what we've learned and improved on.
Yeah.
Well, make sure to come out on Sunday, doubleheader for the women and the men. Coach, thanks so much for your time as always.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll have head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson, join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Now joining us, head coach of the UT Martin women's basketball team, Kevin McMillan, as the Skyhawks return from Hawaii, and then also Butler wrap up non-conference play on Sunday against Arkansas State. Coach, first of all, trip to Hawaii, and then you've been on the road to Butler as well. How have those road trips been for your group?
Well, as trips, they're not very good. You have I think it was a 16-hour trip out there to Hawaii and then a 20-hour trip back. And I still didn't figure out how it got longer because it felt like it was easier. And then we were here 2 days and we're back on the bus and we're headed 5 hours to Butler. So, and I really, honestly, I did the Butler one on purpose to see if our kids could get back and get focused and do whatever. Hawaii's just hard. The trip is just hard, but the experience, I think, was really good. It's neat when you see things that for these kids that they may never see in their lives. That's one of the things I think college athletics is really good about, is that you go places, like how many football players are going to be in Montana at any point in their lives. So that was really good. And, Pearl Harbor is, I'll be honest with you, it's phenomenal, but I don't ever want to go back.
Yeah.
It is very heavy. It's just very heavy.
And December 7th, just a couple of days ago, was Pearl Harbor
and
Day.
it was coming up. So, but I tell you what, I was very impressed with our kids and my own children in how they handled that whole experience. They were very, very respectful without a big speech. So you kind of can tell. They've got good upbringing because that was a very heavy time. And then, and then you're just, the beach is right there, the water. I actually enjoyed the luau, which I thought I was going to hate.
Oh, it's great. Luau's are great.
I thought it was going to be awful.
The
but
translation of luau is fun.
I didn't realize that it was such a culture learning thing. And so I really enjoyed learning about the Hawaiian culture and how they had all the different islands and people have come to make up Hawaii. So I enjoyed that.
Did you dance?
No. Oh, they tried to get me up there at the beginning, but I told them, I said, y'all, y'all spit it when you made me wear this Hawaiian shirt.
I was about to say, I saw pictures
didn't-
of you in the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, I didn't.
Was that a struggle to get you in that?
Not really. The struggle was my son didn't have one either, and so he got mad at his sister because she wouldn't go get him one. So she went downstairs to the shop to get him one, and as little sisters tend to do to big sisters, she came back up and threw him one and said, "This is what you're wearing." It was exactly mine.
Oh, that's funny.
So she had bought him matching shirts, and she played it well. She was like, and I don't know where the receipt is, and sorry, Matt.
love
So yeah, Matt and I were dressed to the same. Keith Riley is on my naughty list because he's the one that he snuck money to a couple of the girls to go get me one because he's like, I'm sure he doesn't have one. Yeah. Very, very.
Before we talk hoops, did you eat pineapple?
I didn't.
No. Oh, you don't like pineapple?
No, I'm not
Before
a
we
pineapple
talk
eater.
hoops, Hinkle Fieldhouse is where they
Yes.
filmed Hoosiers.
Yeah.
And then so you go from Hawaii to this
Yeah,
historic.
that was a really weird. And we went from 75 to 80 degrees to 18 degrees. So
Yeah.
it was a strange combination of trips.
What's it like being in that building? Did you watch the movie Hoosiers?
Oh yeah, I've seen it a bunch, and I just enjoy the fact that I got to be there once. Now they've upgraded it from the movie. It's chairback seats now, and it's a nice. You wouldn't know that that's what it was.
Yeah, even the hallways and the locker room.
Hallways are still fair. You can tell that they're old. It's still got the iron beams and that are holding the place up, and it's a great venue, and I'm glad that I'd never been there, so it was neat to go.
I thought we played Butler before, but I guess we didn't play there.
we have never played Butler.
Okay.
Not the women.
Okay.
We haven't played Butler.
Okay. I've been there a couple of times with the men. I was
it
thinking.
it is a neat place,
Yeah.
and I took pictures of it. Maybe we can get our floor done like theirs because it was extremely comfortable to play on. It's a great floor. So maybe we
Fantastic. Yeah, great trips.
Well,
great
wait a
memories.
minute. Hang on. What is a
Go ahead.
comfortable floor? Like a little springy or?
Yeah, our floor, no disrespect to the engineer that decided to design ours, which is extremely sarcastic.
But this was in the late 60s, early 70s.
No, this was in the late 80s, early 90s when we
Okay.
put the wood floor down.
Okay.
They just put to save money, which I'll leave that editorial comment out. They just put the floor on top of the concrete. They dug down, but they just dug down so it would be level. They didn't dig down so it would be cushiony. So basically, that floor, it has a little cushion, but it doesn't have a lot. It doesn't have what a normal field.
Now, the old field house.
The old field house floor was one of my favorite floors ever. I mean, it was so comfortable. You could feel the give in it, and so it was awesome. The new one's not as good as the old one, and Hinkle Fieldhouse is basically ours, built up about 7 or 8 inches off the floor.
Yeah.
So it was really neat, and I was
neat.
glad to be there.
Hey, I've heard all these stories of the Boston Garden, the old garden, where Bird knew where to defend a person to get them to hit a dead
Because
spot.
there were dead spots.
Yeah, I mean, you
it's
hear
the
all
same
that.
concept.
Yeah.
Same concept. And I just, the old gym floors, they're just so giving, and I just think that's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, recently, even Lonzo Ball was talking that he feels that a lot of his injuries were coming from playing basketball outside so much growing up, and that if he would have played inside on a good floor, he wouldn't have the knee issues that he has and ankle issues.
there's some. Yeah, I would tell him he needed to jump a fence, and he needed to play tennis, and he needed to do other stuff, but because the kids are too specialized these days with their muscles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a phenomenal floor. I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, really great trip for coaching all the players. Getting out to the hoop side of things, Hawaii, I know number one UCLA was there, and then Fresno State, and of course Hawaii themselves. And what are some of those things that you all were able to work on while you were over there?
The first quarter against UCLA was really good. At the media timeout, we're ahead 10-9. But now they are really good and could be even better if they figure it out. But they hadn't figured it out yet. They beat us 100, but they can be dominant, which you saw when they beat South Carolina by 25 or so. And then Hawaii, we led that game for the majority of the game. It's just hard to beat Hawaii at Hawaii. I mean, the officials are off the island now. So it's just hard. I mean, it's hard, but you expect it. Like I wasn't shocked or surprised. And then Fresno State was really good. I mean, they were really, really good. And we were up 2 with 20 seconds to go. So we gave ourselves chances. And, we're getting better. We're getting better. But we're getting better with an absolute brutal schedule. I don't know what our strength of schedule is because I don't know how they figure it anymore. But I know that Fresno State was 6-2 or 6-3. Hawaii was 7-2. UCLA was undefeated. Yeah. Butler was 8-2. Tennessee was undefeated. Louisville's ranked 7 and whatever. UCA has lost 1. So Missouri State, we beat Missouri State at home. Then they turned around and left and went and played Gonzaga at Gonzaga and beat them. Yeah. And then went to Texas Tech and beat Texas Tech.
And you've been to Gonzaga. That's really hard to win.
That is hard to do. Yeah. That is hard to do. So, I would love to see the records of our non-conference opponents right now. And we're about to play Arkansas State, who beat Arizona State. So it is a brutal schedule. And so I don't know if kids today can handle it like I can as a coach or as players could 10 years ago. I don't know. I know that they're way more worried about results than they used to be. Yeah. Which that's not a positive or negative. Usually I have a positive or negative, but that one's it just kind of is what it is. So you just have to kind of figure that out because we probably played, no question, our best quarter of the year against Butler in the third. But we've played really good the last 4 or 5 games, and it's just a matter of us crossing that line from we're ready to play. Probably we're ready to play 40 minutes against the best teams on our schedule.
Yeah.
And we're just not quite ready, but it's close. I mean, I can see it. It's right there. But you have to be pretty intentional and you have to be purposeful about what you're doing. And we hadn't quite done that yet.
And non-conference wrapping up on Sunday with Arkansas State, as you said. What do you think the identity right now of the team is with one more game to go before you all start conference play on the road, which will be at Morehead State and then Southern Indiana?
Well, that's a good question. I think that our kids, I told y'all back before when I screwed us up. So what that did was push their identity further down the road. Mm-hmm. We thought our identity was going to be one thing. Well, you need to play 4 or 5 games for them to figure it out. When I butchered it, I had to fix it, and we've got it fixed. It's now we're in that 3 or 4 games of doing it okay, so that we understand what we're doing. Yeah. That's why I hate any conference games before Christmas, especially now with what we've done. But we're pretty tough defensively. And we've kind of figured out that. We still hadn't figured out rebounding. We're executing on offense. Now we've got to start making shots. So I'd say our identity is pretty tough on defense, and we execute. Have we embraced that and run with it? No. But I do think that's probably our identity. Our identity is just kind of like looking in a fuzzy mirror. You can't quite. You can see it. I know who that is, but it's not clear.
Or it's foggy. You're just kind of slowly wiping it off, wiping the fog off.
Yeah, that's kind of what that's. Oh, that was a good analogy.
Yeah. He's going to use that one later.
I'm going to have to use that one.
Practice
Where'd
at
that come
12:30. From? I heard a great person say this one.
Yeah, this was a wonderful thing I heard the other day, guys.
But no, I mean that's part of it, though, Coach. I mean the ability to change your identity when you realize you need to, and it can also be beneficial. What are you looking at?
Our strength of schedule is 19th in the country.
Wow.
So our opponents are 48-20. So that's 19. So here we are, UT Martin, and we've got the 19th strongest strength of schedule. So
beyond that, and what that doesn't factor in is going to Hawaii.
Oh yeah, and then coming back and playing Butler 3 days later.
That's right.
That makes it even. That makes it even harder. Yeah. So
Well,
so
hopefully, I mean, it's your style. You toughen yourself up so you're prepared for OVC play, and then when tournament season rolls around in March, you've been through a lot this season. You're ready for it.
That's been the theory, and Alex has made fun of me for years, saying if we played a normal schedule, we would probably have won 75 to 80% of our games.
Your career record would be a lot better.
Your career record would be right a lot greater, and I'm kind of like, okay, so let's assume I retire today. 6 months from now, you're going to wake up. Are you going to look up my career record?
I might. No.
No, I mean, nobody cares. I mean, nobody cares. Yeah. So they care one time when they say, here's his career record. Oh, well, okay. Well,
broadcasters do care. We use it a lot.
Yeah,
not after you retire.
No, that's true.
See, I mean, so once you
only
retire,
if somebody's trying to
if someone's
you.
about to surpass you, or so many behind you,
they're gonna pass it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
So one more with Arkansas State. What are you looking for in this game before you all start out on the road?
Probably to see it. Well, one, you got to shake off exams, so
Right.
get your focus back. That's why we've got a game before those conference games, and I guess we're looking to see if we're ready to take that next step. How do you know? Well, I mean, you know when when you see it. I don't know what to tell you that means, because it doesn't necessarily mean any specific thing. It's just like when you see it, you know you've kind of arrived. And for your conference, you want to arrive for your conference, and then you want to start getting better. We hadn't arrived yet, and conference is starting. So I guess kind of let's see us put together 4 good quarters defensively, offensively, and see if we can get ready for the next weekend.
Yeah. Doubleheader on Sunday. Make sure to come out. Coach, thanks so much for your time. We'll let you get back to practice and use the foggy analogy.
Yeah, we're going to have to use that.
Yeah.
Oh, and congratulate our football team. Congratulations on a great year. I text Coach Simpson yesterday congratulating him, and he, of course, he was down, and they are, and that's fine, but you just keep getting there. You just keep getting there. You just keep getting there, and it's great that they got there, and they're so close to getting a little bit higher seed, which puts them in a little better. The margin of error when you get there is so small, and so every little bit will help. But they had a great year, and I was just proud of them.
Awesome.
Really
Thank
great
you,
year. We'll
Coach.
talk to Coach Simpson later. We'll take a break here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley, final guest of the show, head coach of the UT Martin football team. Jason Simpson as the Skyhawks cap off the 2024 football season. Fell Montana State there in that second round, number 1 team in the country. And what a great year it was for UT Martin football. Yet again, Coach, get a playoff victory at large berth, another conference championship. Just congratulations on another great year as we get this started.
Well, thanks. No, I'm sure we'll look back on it, and there's some things that we did that I am very proud of. I got back in yesterday, and obviously couldn't hardly sleep Saturday night. But I watched the tape yesterday, and so obviously we lost the game and didn't play as well as we would like. But there was still some. I felt better after watching it, and I know that sounds crazy. And what I mean by that is, first and foremost, you want to see. Okay, if that's the best that there is in FCS, okay, which at this point says that it is, how far are we from that? Okay, and I know what the score says, but the first thing I did is I watched the tape based on just players, okay, and some of the things I saw were encouraging, okay, to where not that we got all that same team back, but we have a certain formula that we try to get to every year. Okay, what is our formula here at UT Martin? And I was encouraged, and what I was encouraged about was based on size, based on speed, based on change of direction. Okay, and so I was encouraged, but then you become angry. Okay, because there were some things that we did in the game that, especially on defense, that allowed us not to be for it to be a competitive game, to where you had a chance, and that's all you were asking for in that game. And so it reassured me of our evaluation and our development and our recruiting, and of that we can get there. Okay, now it's not easy. Okay, All right, but I was talking to Kurt McGuffin this morning, and all you want in this profession is an opportunity to be successful. Then the rest on you. Okay, now you have to have some. Your administration got to have support. You got to have different things in place. Okay, you can be the best coach in the world. Okay, but if you don't have certain things in place, you can only go take the program so far. All right, and I'm not sure early in our career that it wasn't more of a wish of mine. Okay, but after watching that tape and seeing, and I know this is twice we've been there. Okay, and hadn't been able to get out of that second round, but I was really encouraged. And determined of okay, the next time, right? Then how do we make it better? How do we make it more competitive? Now, there was a coaching element of it. Give their coaches credit. They put us in some, gave us some wrinkles. Had some things that on that particular play, maybe our players didn't, which happens every game. Okay, but when the margin of error for success is very small. You can't give up a play. You can't get to second 15 we gave up 4 or 5 explosive plays. Okay, 2 of them were from good players that busted the assignment because of emotion, because of a blitz that was coming. So another line of communication had to be made and then executed out. We cut the tight end loose for an easy score. Another tight end got away from us. And it's a good design scheme play, but we had practiced that during the week. And, so we didn't execute it out. So that was frustrating, okay? So.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You're not playing another game for 8 months.
Right.
And the day after that game, you wake up and you want to watch it. You want to watch. So, No, is this what you do throughout your career?
Yeah.
After your last game, you're going to watch it the next day and evaluate it just like you would if it was game 3?
It was no different than when we lost to Sanford last year.
Mm-hmm.
You come in and it's a year-round deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is, and it takes a year to get a team to a certain spot because of different things that are going to happen. Okay, today, this morning, right? Been visiting with players. Players want to talk about the portal and different things. Okay, so it's those things are inevitably going to happen. You're going to lose coaches and stuff. So if you don't do it now and get it fresh in your mind of the plan that you have to have going forward, I think that you're just hoping. You lose that vision of the quality of player, the quality of coach, the schemes, the development, the things that you have to have. And you can't go backwards. I don't want to be at a place where you got to go backwards. But finishing my conversation of, it was exciting to know that we're at a place now to where that is obtainable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that national championship is attainable. Now, a lot of things have to go your way. You have to, got to play better than what you did. But that's exciting. That's exciting to me. Frustrating to me, right? Because I want that opportunity again, but you only get one chance.
Well, I'm excited that it's that drive that makes you successful.
Well, and like I said, and that's the only way that to have a chance, it has to be like that. You can't just roll back in here in January. Okay, who we got in the building, and you be so full of yourself to where we can get back. No, it takes 365 days to get it going back.
Yeah, and I mean, lots of seniors in this group, Coach. I know Kincaid being one of them, quarterback, lots of wide receivers, defensive players, Tevin, Jalen, and Chris, too. I mean, those seniors, a large portion of it, or I'd say a few of them, have been out to the playoffs twice. And in 4 years, they have 4 conference championship rings if they've been here for 4 years or maybe even longer than that. Just talk about their contributions to the program and what they've meant to you and UT Martin football.
Well, it's – I guess there's only one of them, and I appreciated this. There's only one of them that contributed, on that 21 team, and that was O'Shea. And, the rest of them were probably lucky they made the travel list in 21, okay? And some did and some didn't. But, so different folks came before them and different players, and then they waited their time and earned their opportunity. No, it really is. I just saw Chris Hunter in the building a while ago, and now you shake hands like, he's a grown man. You shake hands and, he's got, graduation and different things that are getting tape ready, right? Trying to get with an agent and all those things. They've moved to the next phase of their life. And so it's different. It's like the seasons, summer, winter, fall, they're inevitably going to come. Doesn't mean you're always ready for that transition, but I do appreciate it. That's what I told them after the game. Hey, man, thank you guys. Whether you've been here with us 1 year, you've been here with us for 6 years, some of them have. Thank you.
Well, you went beyond that. I love you. This home will always be your home. I mean, really, what you told them, I thought, was on a personal level beyond football.
I don't even remember everything I said, but no, I meant it. I meant it. And that's why, like these conversations on the portal and stuff, that's why they're hard now.
Yeah.
Because very few kids since the portal's been, and I appreciate the ones that played here, have just gone in without coming to see me. All right. And that's hard to do. Nobody likes to tell somebody bad news. Okay. And they give me an opportunity to point out pros and cons and stuff. Inevitably it's their and their family's decision. But I do appreciate that. That means a lot. That means that they're connected. They're, they're still leaving. Well, coaches leave. They leave for higher paying jobs. Mm-hmm. Okay. With just more security for their family and different things. So, early in my career, maybe I didn't like that, right? But that's not fair to them
You left the school too, though, to come to UT Martin.
And sometimes, I'm very proud when they get to go be coordinators.
Yeah. Right. Sometimes it's not. I guess it's a lateral move.
We've had very few that have left what I felt like was a lateral move, and we our pay scale. I mean, we do as good as we can, but there's some places that can pay some more, but a larger salary pool. But maybe their cost of living is higher than it is here, so there's some trade-offs to it. But no, I enjoy it. Obviously, we've had more that have gone, to the bigger stadium and bigger salary pool and stuff, and so that's just part of the business.
And now recruiting up next. I know early signing period got some guys and also some local players. Isaac Moore from Camden, Tate Serber from McKenzie, AJ McNeil, Trey Cotton, and then Ethan Eubanks from East Tennessee and Oak Ridge. And I know that still another signing period coming up, but just talk about, I guess, those guys coming on in and what they can contribute.
Known all those guys. We've seen them all, I believe, all in camp, right? You start with Tate Serber from McKenzie, right? Seen him throw in person, and he's been out there on our field and stuff, so we feel very comfortable with that, comfortable with his family. We feel like that he's made of the right stuff, and, we've had, with Derek Carr and Dresser win, I think it's important that we can get the best quarterback in West Tennessee that we think that can, can win some conference championship. No, we want to keep that guy here. And, we believe in Tate like that, so we're excited to get him in the program. Isaac Moore, from Camden, we saw him in camps and couldn't believe the stopwatch when we looked at it. Will you run that again? Both times he's in the 4.3s. Yeah. And he doesn't even know how fast he is. And, and he's a guy that a lot of schools saw those times because he had a Nike combine and stuff, and they saw the times. And we're like, really? 4.3? I think he went to Knoxville and ran 4.3 something. But, he's a guy that's had to play quarterback. He's had to play multiple positions, okay? We think his best football is ahead of him, and he's tall. He's still 6 foot, 100. It's not like he's 140 pounds. No, he's probably 180 plus pounds. So that's Colton Dowell type speed. We're hoping to see what that can turn into. Trey Cotton, when he came to camp, the safety, out of Louisville, we think's hard to find safeties that can cover and that are physical. I mean, and you have to make yourself kind of wait to find one of those, because if not, you get guys that are situational where you got to sub them all the time and stuff. But we think Cotton's one of those guys, and really enjoyed being around his family and stuff. We signed 5 in that group, right? I talked about 3 of them.
AJ and then
AJ. AJ, they're playing the state championship this week, from a great high school, Carrollton. They're one of the number 5 in the country right now, and plays with the outstanding quarterback that's signed with Colorado. But Rudy Griffin, our D-line coach, his son plays on the team, and is a James Madison signee. So getting AJ up here, he saw one game. He hasn't even taken an official visit here. Wow. None of those kids have. Yeah. None of those kids have taken an official visit because of where it hit signing day on December the 4th. And now we're not exclusive to that. It's like that at a lot of places in the country because the kids are playing in the playoffs. We were playing in the playoffs. There's just no time to get them here on campus. But they've all been to campus. They've all came to games. But it's just weird how the things have changed. And you sign guys that didn't get to go through what is the normal courtship and the timing of it and stuff. But AJ's an explosive wide receiver that's exceptionally fast with good speed. I mean, with good size. So I'm pleased with that. We'll probably add another 10 guys to that high school list. All right. In the January, February, or the February 3rd, 4th, whatever signing day it is. But then we'll probably have to go get 10 to 15 kids that are in the portal, junior college guys, because that's how rosters are put together now. They really are.
And I think too. Also, we talk about it so much with Cheeks about. The career he had here, just 1 year, and he's a 1,000-yard rusher, top 5 single-season rushing yards. And, with Sam Franklin leaving, it was like, all right, we have this amount of carries that we can give you. And the linebackers leaving, we have this many tackles. They're an opportunity for you. It's I guess, a pretty easy pitch. We've been to the playoffs twice. We've won twice in the last 4 years in the postseason.
And you're consistent. You've been here a while.
Right.
I think that helps.
That matters.
I think that helps.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. All those things you talk about will be different conversations I'll be having as we go forward. And there's Cheeks was such a good get for us, okay, because he was just he's a good person. He's a good teammate. His family was great. They were out at Montana State. They were at New Hampshire. They were very appreciative of his opportunity. We got to get him graduated because he never redshirted 3 years of Vandy. Then, so trying to make sure that because all those kids have got professional aspirations, so they want to go train with guys, and I get it, okay, but we don't want to just waste a semester of school, all right? So can we take some online classes so you can keep work? You don't want to give up just 6 months of your life and have to come back and do it. Y'all know how hard that would be. To bills start coming due, and it's hard to stop and go back to school. So those are different conversations that we're having. But no, I thought we did a good job with our portal gets this past year. In a good mix. I think that's necessary for us, maybe not for everybody, but I think you have to have your Tevin Ships and your O'Shea Bakers, guys that have been here a long time with you. Which creates a good dynamic, right? When everybody one of my fears is you get too many 1-year guys, right? And the season doesn't go like you need it to go. I think we were 1-3. I think Cheeks is a great person, right? And a great teammate, but having Chris Hunter, Tevin Ship, O'Shea Baker, Josiah, guys that were 4 and 5 and 6 year guys, I think it helped us push through that tough early part of the schedule and get us back on track. I think those guys held it together until we get some more wins under our belt. So all those things factor in as you put this roster back together.
And I feel like we're still learning how to utilize the portal as coaches because the sample size is not big enough to really know. And I guess every coach probably kind of has a different strategy right now.
And it probably needs to change from year to year based on the needs that you have, based on, because I think a new thing that's thrown into a wrinkle is thrown into it, roster size cut down to 105.
Yeah.
Okay. And you say, well, Coach, how many did you have? Well, at one time we probably had 120. Okay. Then it kind of trickles down to probably 110. All right. So now we'll have to go smaller than that. Well, you say, well, how does that affect you? Well, here's what happens. Okay. You take your power forward now. Okay. Most of them probably had 110 to 120. Okay. Well, now that number's got to come down to 105. And a lot of those kids were probably, in the last 2 or 3 years were NIL guys on top of that 85 scholarship. They had 85 scholarships and they probably got 10 to 15 a year and said, hey, here's tuition, NIL, we want you here. And those guys turned down other opportunities to go to their dream school, whether it be Knoxville or wherever. All right. Well, now they can, like I said, that roster's got to come down. So there's more of those type guys that they're in that portal as well. And so now your numbers are higher in the portal. Okay. You're back up. You think about that. If every team, there's 250 or so, FBS, I'm sorry, there's 130 FBS. So if every one of those have got 10 that were on their roster,
a lot of players.
Just a minimum of 10, right? Okay, so you got those in there. All right, now FCS schools have got to cut their rosters down. It's just so many kids to choose from. So which makes us, in my opinion, makes the spots harder to get too.
Yeah.
We looked at a stat yesterday that basically about 50% of FCS kids that get in the portal, all right, end up not playing any more football.
Really?
That doesn't shock me, honestly.
It's like 51%. Okay. Now, that could be walk-ons. All right. That could be partial scholarship guys, full scholarship guys, whatever. So, you wish the media, social media, whatever would do, the due diligence, right? You see the good stories.
Right.
You see the small school going to big school. You see that. All right. But what you don't see is that 51% that ended up not playing anymore.
Right. And if the focus truly is the student athlete, that's not right.
It's not.
That's wrong.
Yeah, it's not.
Somebody's getting let down.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It was a deal to where, okay, we're going to make this fair. We're going to make this fair, and you get opportunities and stuff. But they didn't think about. They knew about, but they didn't publicize it. It makes the business decision your bottom 20% of your roster expendable.
Yeah.
And I heard Nick Saban say this, and I was like, oh, I know exactly what he's saying. All right, because his deal was this, okay, our good players aren't going to want to leave because they're set to go to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Now, we're going to lose some that are right behind them because they want to wait their turn. Okay. All right. So, but we need some more spots. Where's those spots going to come from? The bottom 20% of your roster.
Yeah.
Okay. So you tell those guys, hey, you got to go someplace. Sorry, we don't have a spot for you. And then they go get somebody else players. So, now if you're from Alabama, you probably fall someplace else. Well, guess what? That formula is the same. It
just trickles down.
It trickles down.
And then, as what you were saying, if it's 51%, those 51% are probably not getting their degree.
Oh, could
and
be,
then,
yes.
And then those are the 51% that will probably not play football and make money who could use a degree.
Yeah, because what will happen is okay, will I get another FCS opportunity? Well, first, not very many go into the portal in FCS thinking about another FCS, right? They all want to go to a bigger stadium and get some NIL opportunities and stuff. And I get it, right? Because if you're on that roster, you're going to get, 14 millions going to those FBS, those Power Fives starting July 1st. Mm-hmm. So everybody's getting a little piece of that, okay? They just have a salary cap based on where you're going to fall on that roster, okay? Well, once those spots are filled, right, and like you said, it trickles down. So, unless you're in the top 10% of FCS, you're not trickling into going up to one of those spots. All right. So some of those guys are coming down, so they start filling those FCS spots as well as the high school kids, junior college players. All right. Well, then all of a sudden it hits you that, okay, maybe Division II is the best you got. I mean, there's some, maybe I don't want to do that. Okay. Because it's Division II's only got 36 scholarship where we've got 63. So now you got to take a half scholarship. Now some more debt comes into play, so, you gambled yourself out of an opportunity, out of a better financial opportunity. I had one tell me this morning, what do you think, Coach? I got people back at home telling me, that I can do this on, a bigger stage. Okay. It's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say that. Okay. Well, then it comes to me to sit there and have an honest conversation with a kid that I've recruited since he was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And be truthful to him, even though he may get mad and walk out and say, Coach doesn't believe in me. No, that's not what I said. These are the things that I've experienced since I've been the head coach. Okay. I've experienced some of our players go in the portal that had great stats here that went. And then they within 48 hours, right, they blow up on social media. You put the little post, I want to thank UT Martin or thank Murray State or thank whatever for the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so everybody's hitting you up, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. You're getting different offers. We probably offered 300 guys in the portal. I don't even know who they are because that is just how this thing goes, right? You're just trying to get on the phone with them, let them know what you think about them, okay, until you decide that you want them. And then if another one pops up the next day that fits your needs, but you never call that one back. Mm-hmm. That's the timeline you're on here, okay? There's only the end of this recruiting cycle ends not this weekend, but next weekend. And then it goes dead for 2 weeks until you can get back in January. So everybody's just sprinting right now trying to put their teams back together.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, but the human element is you're having to have these truthful conversations with kids, and I shared with one today. There's one of ours that had really good statistics in the OVC, got on a plane. They flew him to a place, a group of 5 school. When he got off the plane, one of their coaches called our guys and said, no, man, he's not tall enough.
Wow.
Okay, we're not taking him. So he's spending 48 hours there, just wasting his time. They've already told us they're not going to take him. All right, and then the next school. All right, here's what came up. All right, because he's at the end of his career academically. Right, a lot of those hours didn't transfer. I mean, they didn't go through. All right, so he's going to have to take X amount of hours in the summer just to get eligible. The coach calls us and says, "Coach, he's not good enough for us to wait in the summer for him to get all these hours, done. We're going to take this other kid. We're not taking him."
Yeah.
All right, so there was 2 spots gone, right there for him. And it's just the kids. You don't have age. Most of them that are dealing. If you're not dealing with the Power Fives, right? You don't have an agent doing. These kids are trying to do it themselves, and their parents are doing the best that they can. And it's just a cutthroat.
And I still don't think people really understand it.
It's just
it's a risk. I mean, we have a situation where 2 guys came from UTM to go to the same conference to play a sport, and one is getting a significant amount of playing time, and the other one is barely playing at all. And if you would have asked me last year which one of those 2 would do better, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
But it's situational. It's the situation he's in with that coach and those teammates.
Yeah.
And it's a risk.
And guess what? I think I kind of remember the 2. Okay, I don't know which one's which. I haven't followed it, but I promise you, at the end of the season, if that doesn't change, the one that's not playing, that deal will be done in March.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If he had 1 year, 2 years, it's not a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can tell you from my own experience with Ty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as you get signed to this, okay, but it's not like our salaries that go a year, right? No, it's after the season. You're either getting a raise or you're getting fired. I mean, that's
right.
So it's not
that's
1
right.
year deal. It's not 3 years, whatever. It goes from like season to season based on their need and what they're getting. And now you say, yeah, but they're getting to earn some money while they're there. They are.
But was their need money or playing time to someday maybe play at the next level and make money playing that sport, even if it's overseas?
No.
And if you're not playing at all, you're less likely to get the opportunity to play professionally.
I just had that conversation, okay? I mean, we've got good examples for us, okay? Colton Dowell, senior year, 67 catches, 1,300 yards, okay? Good pro day, 6th-round pick, okay? If he goes to wherever, right, does he get 67 catches? So he's probably still going to run 4.39, but he doesn't have 67 catches for 1,000 yards. So does that probably doesn't make him draftable, probably makes him a free agent.
Yeah.
Okay. Rodney Williams, a man, he just didn't have a position, okay, but he still got to play for us and still wowed some people on tape, got him in camp, right? Now he's got 2 years in the NFL, okay? If he's at a larger place, maybe he doesn't find his way on the field as much because he was kind of in between of a tight end and receiver, and they probably got some guys more specialized and stuff. Dresser coming off the injury and different things. Okay, he really had 1 year where he put up some stats.
Yeah.
Okay, and but he got an opportunity, and Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore only had like 30-something catches his senior year. He had an ankle sprain the whole time, but he had some tape. He had a good pro day, and then the kids that have left us that have gone the last couple of years, none of them got really any good stats yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Because most of the time when you're bringing guys in, be honest with you, I mean, you're bringing them in at a lot of positions for depth. Right? I mean, we brought Cheeks in here. He was battling out Narkel.
Yeah.
Okay. He wins the job. Narkel gets hurt. Then he goes from there. But in the spring, Narkel was going with the ones. Okay. So most people, right, because it's a Power 5 level, right, you probably got a starter. And then you got a high school guy coming in, and or maybe it's a red shirt, just not quite whatever. So you need one in between there. If he wins the job, great. If not, sometimes maybe he doesn't threaten as much the other one. But so that happens a lot of times too. But nobody in negotiations, right? You're not going to say, "Hey, man, you're going to be the 2."
That's right. That's right.
So no, it's
tricky.
It's tough on the kids, man. I mean, I was dreading today. That's what the season I was telling y'all last week, right? It's so regimented. You got what you got. I know on Mondays I'm going to be here at 12:30. I know on Tuesday I got a 10:40 OVC call, right? You just know hourly by the day what you're doing, weekly for 4 months, okay? Once the season's over, okay, on Monday, all right, then those kids start texting me, "Coach, you got a few minutes? I come and talk to you."
Yeah.
All right, and you never used to have to do that until 3 or 4 years ago. And so now you got to, put your roster back together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, so talking about, your strategy for recruiting and everything like that. Now, plans for the offseason outside of recruiting, what are you all up to? I know Alabama's got the bowl game against Michigan, and they're in bowl season, and I know Graham's probably got some camps and stuff like that as well. What's the Simpson family going to be up to outside of recruit?
Golly, it's I don't know. Actually, you know what? Ty's graduating this weekend.
Oh, really?
How about that?
Congratulations.
In 3 years.
Yeah.
In 3 years. He came out of high school early, right? So in 3 years, he's got 2 years of eligibility left. So, no. So he's graduating Saturday. So I know that's on the docket. Next week, I hadn't looked ahead to. So we got one more week where we're probably starting Wednesday. We got some players coming here Wednesday. Every day, you know how I'm looking here at Alex because we used to have like big weekends. Remember back in the day, right? We may have 20 kids and families come up on Friday, okay? And then, well, now they're daily. It's 24 hours, sometimes 18 hours. Yeah. Okay, we fly them, and we constantly burn the roads up to Nashville to pick them up, unless they can drive through, drive in here, and we fly them in or they drive in. Here's for a short period of time, and then they're gone, and then you try to put your roster from there. So that will be all through the next week, and then you got your Christmas break, and I guess we'll get to go to the bowl game, and I'm sure I'll have some coaches that have some interest that, will have some opportunities. So that's coming every year.
Do you have a chance to buy Christmas presents?
Yeah.
You know what? I was thinking about that the other day. Okay. It's almost, you go into, what's the place here in town? Where we all as men shop.
5 Seasons.
No, I don't even, because that's for us, right? I'm talking when you're buying your wife something. Sugar Spice.
Okay, yeah.
Sugar Spice. Okay, how many times can you go in there and buy, something, for your spouse, right? Because that's kind of what we, you run in there on Christmas Eve, right? And Sharon, Julie's already told him like some different things that she would like, and Sharon says, "Here's what she likes."
I think you've done this a couple times.
No, I'm a regular. But I used to do this when the kids were younger, because we would be out and about. I don't leave campus that much anymore recruiting. Because used to be, right, you would go see a kid and his family 2 or 3 times. You'd go to the school. It was a long 6-month courtship and stuff. So I would make the track on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and get back. And a new set of recruits would come in on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, now, like I said, it's such a turnover. Or they come to us.
Yeah. But you could buy stuff on the road.
That's what I'm saying. To go to
you're out of town.
I'd be in Memphis, or I'd be in Nashville or whatever. And so something different than clothes or something.
Have you heard of the internet? So
have you heard of Amazon?
I'm not that technically sound. I can turn the computer on, right, and I can watch the video.
Okay.
All right. I can't really run PFF. That's my young GAs do that. So I've strategically made myself a dinosaur in some things.
I think your family's probably used to it. Whatever you're doing is working.
No, they do. They work around me. Sometimes when I put those glasses on, they've turned me into the grumpy old. My dad's named Johnny. Okay, John. He's been known Johnny, and so every once in a while they'll hit me with "Okay, Johnny." My mom and dad are listening. And I used to do the same thing, right, when I was younger. But I tell you what, it was really cool to have Ty and Graham and Emma and Julie at the game this weekend. That was neat. I was good as Scott Taylor, State Farm. David Hart, man, I appreciate those guys coming. Fans that came that way to the game. Crockett made his pilgrimage there.
Yeah.
I think y'all need to let Davis go out with Crockett the next time we go.
No doubt.
I want to see him get up the next morning and do the broadcast.
Yeah.
Because Crockett will probably hold you hostage.
Crockett's been loyal and through the ups.
I think, I don't know if I said this on here before, but he told me one time when I first met him, Randy Barnes introduced me to him. Okay? And he said, "I want you to meet this guy." He said he is very loyal to this football program. And I said, "Hey, nice to meet you, Jason Simpson." And I said, "Randy's been telling me for 20 years you've been coming to Skyhawk games, And this, I guess, so with me he's been 20, but before that, when David Barnes played, he would come." Yeah. And he said, "Yep, you're exactly right." He said, "I've been in those stands when there was just the 2 of us." I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" He said, "Me and Jack Daniels."
We've actually had Crockett could be heard sometimes on our post game interviews.
I
with
yelled
Coach
at him one
Simpson.
time. Remember?
You did?
Remember that? I told that story the other day.
I love this. Shut up,
Okay,
Crockett.
I got 2 Crockett stories. Okay, but I got to go back to this one.
Yes.
All right. Phil Dane. We all love Phil Dane, and he hired me here, and bless his heart and his family. Thank you. And he's passed with us now. Okay, but he calls me one day, and he says, "Hey, I see on this pass list at the games you've been leaving Crockett tickets to come to the game." And I said, "Well, yeah, Mr. Dane. Randy Barnes leaves them for him. They're friends, and he's been such a little fan. He goes. I mean, this guy goes to sometimes every game in a year, but at least 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, we leave him, passes at the gate and stuff. And he said, well, there's times he yells at me during the game. He goes, and there's time he yells at you at the game. All right. He goes, and I don't think we need to be leaving him tickets until he starts behaving himself better. He goes, he said, I don't see why we would leave him tickets when he's going to yell at us.
That's funny.
And I said, okay. He said, so either I'll call him or you call him. He said, but we're not doing these tickets anymore. I said, well, let me do it. Okay. So I called Crockett. All right. And I said, all right, here's the deal, man. Okay. I said, AD's upset at you. I said, I don't, quit yelling at him. And I said, you yell at me. I don't know why you're yelling at me, but I got it. I'm glad you're there. So he cut me off. He wasn't mad. He said, well, let me ask you something. He said, let me make sure I understand this right. He said, so y'all going to leave me tickets, but I can't yell at you or Mr. Dane anymore. He said, no, I'm good. I'll buy my own tickets as long as I can yell at you. He's like, I'm good. Don't worry about it.
He wanted his own rights.
That's fantastic.
He said, I'm
I
fine
love
with that. And then the follow-up was we played a terrible game against Murray. Okay. And I think, we had a chance to win the game, and then we blew it there at the end. And then it was upsetting because we had the game in control most of the game, even though we weren't playing great. And we're coming off the field, and I see Jay Murphy, remember the big nose tackle. And Jay's a great kid. He GA'd for us and stuff. And he's standing there, and he's furious and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on? I don't know if I was on the radio with you or whatever. And I look up there, we're at home, and I look up there in the Bob Carroll Hill, and I see Jay Murphy, kind of pointing at Crockett and all this stuff. I'm like, what's going on? And I see Crockett kind of, he's mad. There's nobody's a bigger fan than us, but he's mad. But now he's yelling at Murphy about how bad we played. So I'm getting involved, right? I'm like, next thing I know, Chris is like, well, Coach, tough game. And you hear me on the radio say, shut up, Crockett.
No, it was fantastic. He is a passionate man.
Passionate fan.
And we love Crockett.
And what I love about it, he doesn't get mad because he knows that I do appreciate him. And him and Rhonda will take a picture with me before every game. And, man, I appreciate him. And I saw a picture of they sat right behind Julie and my family at the game. And he said, hey, next year, let's go. We want to go someplace else beside, Bozeman. Let's go someplace else. I said, well, I don't control the bracket, but we'll see if we can get you to another place.
Oh my gosh, that was good. That was real good. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Mondays now that you're not here to, you made me Martin Made. You built me from the trenches, and now, what am I supposed to do with myself?
You had a good cowboy look going on out there in Bozeman, right?
He's got on boots right now.
Yeah,
he's come back as a cowboy. I saw Ty had his boots on when he was out there. So even Coach Vegan from Montana State, I introduced him to Ty before the game. He's like, hey, man, I like your boots. And so, no, what a good experience for us. And, it was surreal coming back on the plane, right? Because, it's the last time that group of kids and coaches will be together. And and then, it moves on to other things. And I appreciated them. Like I said, we didn't play and coach as good as we needed to, but good experience, really good experience. I hope these kids, like I've told y'all this before, I'm looking forward to in 3 or 4 years when these kids go out and get established and start their families and stuff. A win, bigger than that playoff game, is when they come back here and bring their kids and their family and they show off to them where they played.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a win, guys. Yeah. And, I didn't know that early in my career. Okay. I didn't appreciate that. But man, the last 10 years, that really, it feels like losses feel terrible. Okay. They feel worse than the good of the wins, but people proud. Josh Yarborough, remember him? Y'all remember Josh back from the 06? He sent me a text a couple of weeks ago. He's lived out in California. I haven't seen him And he was in our first signing class in 2006.
Wow. Yeah.
And he broke his hand that first year. Remember playing with a cast, and then played a lot in the second year. He's got 3 young girls.
You got players now that are in their 40s.
Yeah, I know. It tells you how old I am. But I was 34, so you think they were, some of them were 23 and stuff.
Yeah.
So absolutely. But man, that was. I think some of my coaches are looking at me crazy. I'm like, hey, look who texted me, Josh. And Bannon was one of his teammates, so he's probably really the only one that appreciated it and stuff. I'll tell you something else I saw this morning on social media. I saw a post where Kevin Bannon had taken a picture with his offensive lineman. And you see that group standing there. Man, I just take a sense of pride in that, man, that those kids are proud of where they played. And, we all remember 20 years ago, maybe I felt bad for that group in the 90s, right? In early 2000, Chris would apologize, for it. They're great people, right? But just didn't have the resources. They weren't able to accumulate enough good players at one time over a period of time, and those guys didn't have a whole lot of success and stuff. So I hope they take a lot of sense of pride.
I do too. Actually, Brady Wahlberg said, "Quit talking about that." Yeah, he's the Hall of Famer. Brady said.
I've said this before, though. Part of my vision for this program back 20 years ago was listen to Brady talk at the athletic banquet, and he was a player of the he was a senior male athlete of the year. Okay, hearing him stand up there and talk about his experience at UT Martin, the culture that we try to create, part of the platform was from hearing a player that I didn't coach.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, and that's why I say I didn't create the culture here. Guys like Brady Wahlberg did, and all the way back to Big Mac, okay, and then we've just built upon that and capitalized on it. But part of what I feel about this place, and I think that's why now when I see Brady, I feel like I coached him, even though I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't blessed to. But I remember walking out of there after hearing that with a sense of pride, and I couldn't wait to go recruit. And I recruited off of his things that he talked about that day.
Wow.
And so
you've told him that?
I don't know if I
you
have
should
or not.
tell him that. That's good.
That's what I think of what.
But
he
no,
felt.
I mean it's all been a stepping from Coach Carroll into you, and
I've got a Coach Carroll called me Saturday morning wishing me best of luck. And that was just what is Coach Carroll 94 now?
Yeah.
Okay, comes out to that stadium, wanting to fight anybody that's
right.
not helping the program, grow, because he's been in that fight, since he was the head coach.
Yeah.
No, there's so many of those people like that over the years. Got a call from Wally and Linda Kreider.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, apologizing to me because, just health reasons why they couldn't get back to the games.
Yeah.
Where else in America do people call and apologizing by not getting to come? Because we've been friends with them, we've been around them, for 20 years, and just appreciated them. Friday morning. So trying to get to pregame or to walkthroughs and stuff, and then we're getting on the flight. Okay, was it Friday morning? No, yeah, it was Friday morning. Okay, and Emma, my daughter, right? She left her dog at our house, so our 2 dogs. They decided we like him being there. No rules apply, right? The guest is over, so they take off and run it. Okay, I've got to get to meetings and stuff, but I didn't want to leave those dogs out. All right, so I'm running around the neighborhood, okay, trying to get these dogs back to our house. Okay, well, my neighbor's Mike Swain. Okay, he's a great supporter of the program, and him and his family here in Martin, Tennessee. He stops and he's like, "Jay, where are you going?" And I'll never forget the look on his face because he's such a good-spirited guy and stuff. I said, "I'm looking for them doggone dogs." And he starts laughing because he knows we got to go get on a plane and stuff. And I said, "I bet the coach of Montana State's not chasing dogs."
He
around
probably
right now.
was. He's not Martin May.
And Mike just starts, laughing and stuff. But that's part of the cool thing that we're able to do here. You're able to be yourself. You're able to be do family things, do domestic things that have to be done, and that had to be done. Man, I just appreciate it, and it's been a blast.
Awesome.
Coach, it's been a fantastic season. Thanks so much for your time.
Man, I
appreciate it.
I'm on you, but I appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you as
and,
well.
making it the playoffs, made the game you missed, made me swallow it a little bit
Yes. Okay, there
easier.
we go.
Okay, but don't test me next year.
Okay,
Well, there we go.
Challenge I'll tell everybody. No fall weddings. We're done. No more of that. It's over.
right.
I don't
No
know
more.
your generation. There'll be some there'll be some made up holiday. He's got to go celebrate.
You got to take the day off. Yeah. Coach, thanks so much
Thanks,
for your
bud.
time. Good luck off season.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And thank you all so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Skyhawk Sports Talk. Chris, football season coming to an end, but basketball about to ramp up with conference play.
Yeah, I'm excited about jumping into the OVC. And again, follow the Skyhawks at utmsports.com or on all the social media platforms.
And thanks, Coach Simpson, for always stopping by. We know coaches with time and everything like that. It's really hard to spare some time to come and talk with us, but we know that you all appreciated our viewers, and we do appreciate it as well. So big thanks to all of our coaches today, Coach Simpson, Coach McMillan, and Coach Shulman. Coach Shulman and Coach McMillan will both be on next week. We'll also try to get some players in here for you all as conference play starting next week. UT Martin will be at Morehead State and Southern Indiana. Going to be a real fun time as we get things started. And for Chris Brinkley, myself, Davis Gregory, and for all of our coaches today, we say God bless from Zaxby's.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.